What I've
Yeah,
learned
that'll work.
what I've learned deeply about people is that if you tell them to go to the gym, they'll say you're fat phobic, and I'll usually say sure, because I really don't care at
Who
this point. Um,
who that must be a TikTok thing. People actually tell you that unironically.
unironically, I'm now gaining headway on Instagram, which is out of nowhere.
Congrats.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is hell. I have received so many messages. It is absolutely insane. I'm muting my notifications.
Like good messages or
It's usually like, I want you to listen to this. Be my friend. You're in Detroit. Be my friend. Do this. Do that. Hey, how are you doing? Did that really happen? Is that a real story? Something like that. Just something.
random shit.
Just random nonsense. TikTok, I get 75 messages a day, like religiously. Just that's not. I can't escape
Oh,
that
shit.
because I got 300,000 over there, which is annoying.
Hey, well, it's a blessing.
Oh, it's a blessing for sure. I can quit. I quit my job because of it, which you recently did too.
I did, in a very dramatic fashion.
Yeah, you told your boss he was a musty bitch. You punched him in the stomach, that you peed on his shoes or something like that. That's what the Lord tells
Yeah,
me.
something like that. Something like that. And then he got arrested, I think. He at least got fired, but he should get arrested. It's a federal crime. So we'll see
Money
how that
laundering, or something of that variety.
goes. What is it? Embezzlement.
Embezzlement.
Yeah, stealing tens of thousands of dollars, possibly from the people. I don't know. I don't have all the details.
That is an insane amount of money to just take tens of thousands. That's pretty
Tens of
drastic.
thousands. It was a pretty nice restaurant, so I'm not surprised. I mean, if you're gonna go big, right? I guess he's just a little sloppy. He was kind of incompetent from what I could tell, so I'm not shocked he got caught.
That's fair. So let me explain why I chose specifically you to interview.
Please.
It is surprisingly not your numbers.
Yeah, the numbers aren't crazy.
It is not at all. I interview, or at least seek out people, specifically that are either controversial, black,
Wow.
or or people that I feel like have the same niche exactly that I am trying to go for, which is rants that are calculated.
Okay.
I'm
I'm at least one of those things.
at least one. You're just black. No.
But the very least one. I don't know. I guess it depends. Why is my mother calling me? Okay,
Well,
let's relax on that.
You specifically, most people compared me to you for a minute in my TikTok for a second because they watched your videos. Because
Oh, really?
I dog walk Hassan every day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't like his reactionary stuff. And I recently made a video that was backtracking a little bit on my hate of Hassan because I was curious what he actually does on his stream. And I watched like 2 weeks of his streams, literally just 2 weeks straight watching his streams.
How long each day would you watch for?
5
and
hours.
How bad did you want to self-harm? You said 5 hours?
5 hours.
Holy fuck, you're really putting in that work. Huh?
I wanted to, because I don't care to hate, I care to understand. That's my goal.
Fair. I think that's fair. That's a good way to look at it.
So when I was watching him and how badly I wanted to self-harm, sheesh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
At first,
5 hours every day.
At first, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. He was pretty charismatic. It was pretty nice, and I can definitely understand why people listen to him because he looks good. He's tall.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's funny. But then
He's funny.
when something happened, like whenever something happened, it was immediately he would say the first thing that came to his mind,
Yeah.
and then immediately go to Twitter, and then just read a random person's thing. I saw him do it. And then
Just,
after
like,
that,
reaffirm
yeah,
his
and
beliefs
yeah.
based off not much information.
yeah, the echo chambers, and then he would say a reactionary, and then after doing that, he would then read an article. He would then read an article, glaze it, and then the chat would roast him, and then he'd actually read the article.
Okay, at least he's reading articles. That's
yeah,
more than
he's-
I've ever seen him do.
He's reading articles. Like, okay, he's reading, and that's cool. And
Okay.
people in my comment section were just like, "You don't understand Hassan, is it?" And I was like, thank you for your comment. You're boosting me an algorithm. But I don't know him. I just know from the clips I seen. See, you're only watching it from clips. Yeah, that's kind of how I watch anime too. I just wanted to see what he was like in general, and I am happy to say that I was wrong and right at the same exact time.
Okay.
I was both. I still don't like
Explain.
Hassan.
I hope not.
He is reactionary to a fault.
Okay.
He is a generalistic net positive against Republicans. However, I don't
Okay.
give a shit about Republicans. Republicans don't really affect me that deeply. Like, truly, I don't care. If you want somebody to not be on the right side, that's fine. But you can't hate somebody for having a different set of beliefs than you. Truly, you really can't just despise somebody for that. I don't like Hassan because
I
he
agree.
hates people for having a different set of beliefs than him. That's the issue. He just hates them. That's the worst
He
thing.
really does. He treats them like they're subhuman.
Yeah, and that's my biggest issue with Hassan Piker. To be fair, would I see him in public and hang out with him? For sure. If I got big
He's
enough.
probably a fun hang.
100%, because I don't think he believes what he says for the most part.
Oh, you don't think so?
I don't know. I don't think he cares that deeply.
Question. So did you feel stronger after watching him for 2 weeks, or did the 2 weeks change your opinion on
It definitely changed my opinion. I had like this unbiased, unwarranted hate for him. Now I have a warranted hate, but also a warranted respect for him. Obviously, clip farming and content farming is obviously a job for him. It seems like the only argument that I don't think holds any water ever is people will say, "Well, he has a $3 million mansion and things that ready." Yes. I think that if you reach that plateau, money corrupts absolutely. Like, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I don't think Hassan is above any human. I think he's just like me and you. I think that he lost a piece of himself while getting all this money and all these fans. I think that showing that he has a sense of status is important to show that he is important, because people don't listen to people without numbers or status. So he's maintaining that number of status to do that. I still think he should donate more, but I also think that if you get rich, you're gonna do rich nigga stuff. That's just realistic. Look at Will Smith. Like, you're gonna do rich nigga shit. Like,
I don't think that's the problem. I think it's like I guess for me, the house thing isn't a huge part of his hypocrisy, but I think when people just look at it quickly and they're like, okay, this is the socialism guy. He's always shitting on the billionaires, but he lives in a mansion in West Hollywood when he doesn't have to, and he buys a whatever $250,000 car, but he's wearing an Eat the Rich shirt. I think, like, if you just at a quick glance, like, it's kind of goofy. I think that's a lot of people's problem.
It is a weird bit of hypocrisy. However, on the main premise of what I would like to talk to you about, this is going to be a convoluted mess. So please get ready for this.
Okay, I'll answer whatever. Best of my ability.
If someone looked at you, what would they immediately assume?
Looked at me or heard me?
Looked at you, doesn't hear a word, just looked at you from a distance. What would they immediately assume?
I don't know.
No idea?
I'm a man?
Truly.
Male? Black?
All right, now, male, black.
That's all I got.
Cool. Now, when they heard you, what would they assume?
I think it depends a lot on the person, right? Because obviously the way that I speak is a little different. A lot of people assume like that I might be a little bit smarter. People think I might be, I don't know, it depends on the person. Might think I'm a fucking sellout or some shit. That I was raised near the whites. Why does my mom keep texting me and calling me so much?
She misses you.
Right? I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, I think it just really depends on the person.
Okay. Fair. Valid, right? So
Okay.
when the first thing that my friend saw when he looked at you, he said, "Oh, it's a suburban black anime nerd." That is the first. There's like the string of sentences that immediately followed when he saw you. And from what I can just looks, no words, just looks like you can probably play Smash Brothers.
No, terrible at it.
That's because you got a hairline, and see, that's the issue. See, that's the that's like the initial assumptions. Now me, we look like we both like the same things. First initial. Because I look like
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I look like a suburban, and the way that I speak, I don't talk like what's good, cracking, what's cracking, homie. You know, like a regular, you know, like the vernacular.
I feel like you're me, maybe amplified a little bit.
Yeah,
just like aesthetically.
Yeah, I'm a bit more ridiculous. However,
maybe just a little.
However, I am
ridiculous is harsh, but sure.
Ridiculous. I'm a little bit ridiculous. I am a convicted felon. I sold drugs when I grew up. I grew up deeply in the hood. I did not grow up suburban at all. I was in low income housing religiously. As a matter of fact, I didn't see anime until I beat leukemia. Like I didn't really see anime until I
Oh,
beat
shit.
leukemia. That's literally it. That's the lore of what happened.
Wow. Okay.
I
Congrats on beating leukemia. That's big.
thank you. That shit
Shout out
sucked.
to you.
Lung cancer was
I can
ass.
only imagine. Can only imagine.
So my initial goal is to get your takes because
Okay.
we have a now similar outset on how the world works. You believe that black people are not victims, correct?
Victims.
Do you think we're owed anything by America is the real question.
Okay, this is a very interesting question. Okay, I'll say this, right? If you want to pay like my grandparents for fucking them over with Jim Crow and all that stuff, I think that's fair. When I look at myself, Mr. Suburbia, I didn't have the easiest child. I'm still, you know, single mom, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't think anybody owes me shit. And I do think that like having that kind of mindset of like, oh, the world needs to owe me something, I think is gonna fuck you, the individual, over in the long. Can I cuss? I don't know.
You can say whatever the fuck you feel like. I don't.
There it is.
I don't give a damn.
I think it's gonna fuck you, the individual, over. So that's why I'm like, having that mindset isn't gonna help you because nobody's gonna give you a goddamn thing. So get that shit out of your head. That's my philosophy. But yeah, I definitely think like it is very apparent that the government has kind of had it out for black people throughout the history of this country. Now, do I feel personally attacked? No, but yeah.
You have what I would consider the mindset that my older brother has, where my older brother is, by pure definitions, not a black person. He's a nigga. Like without exception, he is purely. And there's a big difference between those two words. He is a nigga through and through. Like he's truly, you know what I mean? He's just a nigga. Like he's just.
I got you.
Do-rag wearing, braids having, like he just plays basketball. He's just pure nigga. He does not think the government owes him anything because he truly believes with his heart and soul to hate a white child for the aspect of being white is disgusting. Is a stupid idea to have.
I agree with that.
Good. Now then, do you feel like it is harder for black people to succeed by virtue of being black?
By virtue of being black, no. I think there's gonna be things that every race is gonna kind of have to deal with in 2024. But like, let's say I'm an African immigrant. I don't think my experience is gonna be that different than like a Chinese immigrant. If we're like same economic status, I don't think it's gonna be that different.
So if
you zoom out,
I think this is what I've discovered upon gaining a little bit of clout. Is that a cop?
Somebody.
No, sorry. I think that it is not an issue of race. It is an issue of class. I agree with that. I think that they create the issue of race so we ignore the issue of class because we can see race, but we can't always see class.
Sure.
So what I'm discovering as I get older, as I witness these things, as I discover these things, that I'm getting less angry at the world, I am more angry at the individualistic practices. Because you have made a variety of videos specifically targeting the left.
Yeah. Well, like online leftists, I don't really care. Like, if you're like a communist in private or whatever, I don't really care. I just feel like a lot of these like lefty YouTubers irked me, and I was like, let's just make fun of them because they're really annoying. I feel like a lot of them are really hypocritical and obnoxious.
That's fair. Do you believe that the hate that new age white people get is warranted at all?
New age white people?
You know what it is.
Okay, like give me an example of like the hate.
Okay, so white people are lame. They often don't have any rhythm, and they don't do anything fun or productive, and they steal from black culture. They're culture vultures. They disgust me with their magnesia Muppet skin. Do you think that is warranted hate?
No. I mean, yeah, no. Just to blanket all white people that they're this, or this, I think that's a bit much.
I've been seeing this rhetoric, not just online. I went to Detroit Pride. I was there meeting some of my fans, and
wait, say that again.
I was in Detroit Pride.
Okay.
I was there meeting some of my fans, and there were these black guys, Hotep black men. All they were doing the entire way through was insulting my wife back there. That's pretty much all they were doing. That's it. She's white. Everybody was insulting. They were insulting her. They were saying, she's evil. She's the enemy. They're calling me a race traitor. It was crazy. I was confused. I was like,
That shocked you? That seems on brand for them.
It shocked me because she asked a very civil question. She said, what can I do to not be so evil? And they basically told her to die. It was crazy. I was like, God damn.
Wow.
It was really insane. I was like, well. So when I see that, I think it's unwarranted because, to be fair, her family's not even from America. They're from the Czech Republic. They're Czechoslovakian. They're genuinely not from America. Her family had nothing to do with slavery. To be quite real with you, my family owned more slaves than her family. I'm from Egypt. So,
wow.
and like seeing that, just because she's white passing, do you think that is a bit extreme now? Or do you think that there are enough extreme white racists that it kind of balances itself out?
No, I mean I'm against judging anyone off of skin color off rip. Like I hope we would all be. I think that's like, should be the standard. To like just because somebody's race, don't like assume they're evil. I feel like that's a fair ask for a human being,
But
there's gonna be like, subconscious assumptions. I think that's realistic, but you should have like the awareness to be like, okay, maybe this is a me problem. Instead of, maybe, she is the devil.
Do you believe, in essence, right? Let's say I don't fit the ideal of my history because I was a convicted felon. I sold drugs. I don't look like that at all. Not even a little bit. I don't look like I did any of that. I look like I grew up Naruto running in the hallways. Do you think that you know what it's like? Do you think that the caricature of black people is affecting the talk about black people?
The caricature as in like thug, all that shit?
Yeah.
Is affecting the talk. You mean like the talk amongst black people or the talk about black people?
Both.
I think so. Definitely. Like we just watched a video on stream the other day. I do not remember the guy's name, but it was something about like black culture being degenerate, and I think that's a lot of people's perception that like all of black culture is just fucking degeneracy and sexy red. I think a lot of white people might see that, or like non-black people might see that, and I think a lot of black people, suburban black people, might feel that too. I don't know how real that is. Because it's like, I don't know, man. Obviously I have black friends. I have my family. I don't know how to judge all of a race and see like what that's like. You know what I mean? Like what is the average black experience? I don't really know. America's kind of a weird fucking place. I don't know. I know black people who grew up with me or like not like me or people that I've met, but like, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to quantify that. But I definitely have had my perceptions, but like as I get older I think about it, I'm like, how much of this is reality and how much of this is just me being fucking emotional?
No, that's valid, because you need to figure out where because there's emotional maturity and then there's emotional, like there's like a very small difference between those two, and some people don't realize when they're just being emotional and don't have the maturity to back it up. That's a bit of an issue there. I'm famously previously canceled from one of my famous takes that I'll give you 4. I said this and people hated me for it because I said, all right, so because I'm bisexual, right?
Okay.
And I said, I'll give you 4. I'll give you boy, girl, both, none. That's all you got. I don't care about anything else. You got boy, girl,
gender
both.
stuff.
Yeah, I'll give you a boy, girl, both, none. And someone said, well, what about? And I said, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I'm a nigga first and everything else second. To niggas, there's just 2. You got a dick or a pussy down there. That's the only 2 things you got.
Okay.
So that's just how niggas operate from what I know, right?
Sure.
So when it comes to this stuff and when it comes to the nuance of things, the nuance gets tossed out the window. Do you think there should always be nuance when it comes to topics like this, or do you think there should be definitive things going on?
No, like specifically when it comes to gender.
Specifically when it comes to yes, specifically when it comes to gender politics in that generalistic sense. When it comes to like there should be definitive things. Do you think there should just be definitive things, or is there always a nuance?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like most things deserve nuance. I'll give the lame PC answer. I think most things deserve nuance. Like before, my next video is gonna be about like Terrence Howard and shit.
Mhm.
1 times 1 does equal 1. There's not a lot of nuance there. You know, he's over here talking about 1 times 1 equals 2 and shit. I think that's nonsense. I do think it's good to like explore things and like think about things that maybe we kind of take for granted or like that we do have set in stone. I think it's great that people challenge these things. I'm just asking, when you challenge these things, let's stay in reality. That's all I'm asking.
No,
Like,
that's
don't just lie about shit or make shit up.
That's fair. My greatest issue, what I've discovered, is I have a lot of trans friends. I love trans people. They're great. They're amazing. I think they deserve rights in general. I think they deserve the ability to express themselves no matter what the environment they're in, because America is about freedom, and I love that. That's fun. I love that. What I don't grasp, and I will never grasp, and this is something that I've been trying to find the answer to, is if I think like a man, because I think like a man, I'm pretty sure you think like a man too. How would I know how a woman thinks without using society?
Yeah, valid question. That's like the whole argument. Like I remember, like with the whole Matt Walsh thing. I think that was kind of like his angle. It's like, if you can't tell me what a woman is, like how do I know what it is? That was like kind of his angle from what I remember.
I think a woman is whatever you want it to be, society-wise, right? I think a woman can have hair. I think a woman can have a mustache, anything like that, right? Literally, that's what I believe.
Sure.
I don't grasp though. This is what messes me up, and I will always not grasp this. If I don't know what it's like to have maternal instinct, if I don't know what it's like to be a woman in general, like to have the mindset of, let's say, AFAB, let's use that, to have the mindset of an AFAB, right?
What's that?
Like my girl is gonna think differently than me, without a doubt. Not because she's an individual person, because she's the woman.
Sure.
However, will a trans woman and a woman come to the same common consensus on the thoughts of like everything? Will like that come in the middle ground? What will happen there?
Well, I would say no one's gonna come to the same consensus over everything, but bro, you're asking the wrong guy. When it comes to trans stuff, I'm just so ignorant.
You're out of it. That's fair. That's fair. That's valid. Let's get back to black stuff right quick. Okay. Do you think black culture is good for your mental health?
I think aspects of it are. And it's like, I was talking about this with my friend. It's like, what is black culture? I think it's so difficult because like, well, if I'm Indian, okay, I have a culture, I can go back to India, that shit, the shit they do over there, that makes sense. But black culture is like some weird amalgamation of like a certain subsect of people and America. It's like nothing that we do, from my understanding at least, really ties back to Africa. So it's like, what is our culture? Is it just like, did I see on the internet? Is it shit that my family does? Is it shit that all black, like what is it? The electric slide? Like what is it?
The electric slide is black culture. Al Green is black culture is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like he is.
That's why it's like, funny.
What is it? I don't know. I think it's a very like complicated question.
It's a bit of a melting pot bit of questioning, because black culture in America was built primarily from struggle. One of the main cruxes that I've seen a lot is black people will uplift other black people. That is what I see a lot. If I see a black person in public, immediately we linking up, we sinking in, we're locking eyes, we're sinking in.
You give them the nod.
The nod, boom. But what I've also noticed is, while that is the common thing that happens most of the time, that's very fun, I also noticed a roasting culture where other black people roast other black people to make them stronger through struggle. Because what
is it?
Go ahead.
Is it to make them stronger?
I don't know. I have no clue.
I don't think
We
so.
are we are commonly
I don't
we are
think so.
commonly known for roasting each other, and then like
Sure.
it's like a back and forth of roasting. Like, oh yeah, that's to help because he has to learn how to roast. He has to learn how to take a punch because black people have to take the punches to keep moving. That's like a thing.
Maybe.
Why do you have you encountered that before? Have you encountered getting roasted before?
Yeah, of course. I've definitely been roasted before. I don't think it was to like make me stronger. I think a lot of people like when's the last time I was fucking roasted? Like in high school.
Mm.
I think it has a lot more, and not just from black people. I mean, middle school, everyone's fucking ripping each other to shreds. I think it has a lot more to do with just like people not feeling great about themselves and just trying to take other people down. At least like as kids, that's just kind of what kids do. Um, yeah, I feel like everybody does that, but I feel like black people are the best at it. Like if I had to choose one group of kids to not hurt my feelings, it would be a bunch of black kids. They're just gonna really find my insecurities and just make me feel like shit.
Yeah, that happened. I did that a lot.
See what I mean?
I was a bully. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I was a complete bully. I was so mean to people. It was horrible. So what I had noticed, and this happened in freshman year of high school, I had a bigger friend. He was portly, and he
Portly.
did. I would say he was a bit on the bigger side. He didn't
Okay.
know how to roast back, so everybody would make fun of. If you're fat in middle school or high school, you're done. If you're black, you're done. It's over. Yeah, you gotta learn how to make jokes. He ended up having a horrible mental health crisis, where he would, commonly phrased now, he crashed out. Generally speaking, he had a horrible time. Later in life, he ended up getting exited out the server, like completely. He's no longer with us because he was roasted by his fellow black people, and he didn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
Do you think that a lot of black men in general don't know how to speak up about their emotional states because of the state of black culture as it is right now?
I feel like most young men, race removed, don't want to show weakness. They don't want to talk about like it's a hard. I would imagine even if you're white to be like, yeah, these kids are like really hurting my feelings and my self-esteem is shot. Like especially when you're young, I don't think that's something you can really articulate well. I don't know if any community is really good at that. You know what I mean? But yeah. I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
No, that's fair. Because in general, I'm not talking about the whole bulk of men, generally speaking. Because most men don't talk about their mental health, generally speaking. It's Men's Mental Health Month, so that's why I'm bringing this up partially. Most men don't talk about their mental health simply because it's not masculine to talk about mental health. It's never been a masculine thing to bring up, like talking, like hugging the boys or high-fiving them. It's never that. But in general, when it comes to like the character, just the caricature of black culture, just the idea of it, when people think about it, they don't think of community. They don't know about the fun parts of it. They just see weaves, ghetto ratchet nonsense, basically the Boondocks, but in real life. Do you think that creates just this whole of issues within the black community and how people perceive us? Do you think that's a bigger crux of issues there?
I think that the negatives of black culture are definitely amplified. I can't say that no one sees the positives of anything when it comes to like black culture, just because like your favorite musician, somebody in your top 5 is probably going to be black, I would assume. Depending on like the average American, like there's got to be a black person in there somewhere that you like that does something, whether it's in any form of entertainment. Now, whether you would consider that black culture, like I think so, but I don't like that's again like when it goes back to the big question. I don't know, it's kind of a tough question to ask or a tough question to answer. But yeah, I definitely think like I was even watching like black people talk about like dating in Korea, and a lot of these black women were saying like, yeah, all these guys like just think like we're so sexual, like they can just have sex with us and like we're just all into that. I think that stems from a lot of the shit that they see in our media. Like I think it has a lot to do with like the Sukiyanas and the Sexy Reds. I think they see that and they think, oh, well, that's what black women are. I think a lot of people see that. I would assume those people aren't American, because I think it's kind of hard. Well, I guess it's not that hard. I guess it depends on where you live, but like if you're living in America, hopefully you would know some black people that would be like, okay, well, obviously they're not all like that. But if you live in fucking Korea and you don't know any black people, and you're just kind of scrolling on the internet and you've seen Sexy Red a few times, maybe you've seen a couple other shit, I could see how you could come to that conclusion. Now, I still think you're in the wrong for coming to that conclusion, but I'm not going to sit there and pretend to be like, whoa, how could you come up with this? Like, I get it. I get where it came from.
What I
If that makes
enjoy
sense.
deeply about how you answer questions is that you'll always add an aspect of nuance. There's always
I try.
you answer questions in the same similar reach that I do, where it's almost fence-sittery in a sense.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, if I don't know like about a subject, I'm not gonna act like I do. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to, try to see things from both perspectives, I guess.
So onto a big question.
Okay.
Why do you think niggas like Dragon Ball Z? What do you think that's about? What is
I think about this all the time. I'm like, what is it about it? I don't know.
It is insane, right? Is that not weird?
It is kind of weird. I mean, it's fucking awesome. That helps. I'm just like, what is it? I would think about this. Me and my friend would talk about this. Like, what is it with black people and Toonami? Like, why do black people love Toonami? Is it the beats?
I was thinking it was Rock the Dragon, maybe the Cell theme, something like that. That's what I was.
That's like rock and roll shit. I mean, maybe, but I'm thinking like, yeah, I guess we're just talking about Dragon Ball Z, but I'm like, every black person I know that is into anime, at least like from my generation or whatever, they all came from like the Toonami era or whatever,
Maguzi,
right?
Toonami, Cartoon Network, somewhere around that range.
Exactly. And I'm like, I know they would always play like cool like music and shit. I'm like, maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but
I think I've
I don't
discovered.
know.
I think I've discovered a small theory that I have.
Go ahead.
So Goku, right, is Martin Luther King. Vegeta
wow.
is Malcolm X. Now hear me out. This is how it goes. What
Yeah.
did most niggas have not seen Dragon Ball. Like like they have started with Dragon Ball Z. And what's the first fight in Dragon Ball Z? Black on black violence. Two Saiyans fighting each other immediately.
Wow.
That's the first
Okay.
thing. That's the first thing, right? So who helps kill two black people at once? Piccolo. Like Piccolo comes in and he stops essentially gang violence. So that's where people are like, okay, Piccolo is he's different colored than Goku and Raditz. Brothers fighting each other. Boom. Now, people fuck with Goku because he is a Saiyan, a nigga from Earth, from America, that is helping his people from Africa, Vegeta, fix themselves from their pride and ego. Because Goku, while he is prideful and still has that black pride, Vegeta is so deep into it that he's blinded by it. Goku sees it as an opportunity to grow and be prideful but not arrogant. Vegeta is arrogant. That's why he loses all the time. That's why he lost against Frieza and Cell, right? Now, what happens when he accepts his core values? He turns into Frank Ocean. He gets blonde. Goku.
Okay, wow.
He turns into Frank Ocean. Boom. A gay nigga. Now, hear me out. What is Frieza? Frieza is a gay white man. Starts off as a twink, then grows up to a power bottom, then third form a drag queen, then fourth form a switch. And then that's why older black people don't like, for some reason, they always don't like gay people. I don't know what the fuck that's about. Now, it gets weird. Just hear me out. It's convoluted, but it has a good ending. The reason why people fuck with Dragon Ball Z so deeply is because at the end of the Cell Saga, Gohan defeated all of Goku's generational trauma. The one goal we all wanted to do. Cell is a culmination of Goku's trauma. He is every villain he ever fought. He is his own dad. Gohan attributed doing the best thing he could possibly do. Not only did he beat his dad, he beat all his enemies in trauma. So that is insane.
Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with all that.
Good.
I think it has a lot more to do with just like kids see fighting and they hear the cool music. I think it's just that. Because like if I'm not fucking with this show, I'm not gonna make it all the way to the Cell Saga to get there.
True, it
And
was
then
his
you would,
fights.
and if it was that, especially like the MLK and Malcolm X thing, then everybody would just love X-Men because that's what that was about, right?
True. I think it was the new
Yeah, I
age.
don't think so.
On a realistic note, I think it was a new age anime, and a lot of people attribute like, oh, Saiyans are monkeys, or niggas were called monkeys. I don't know what that was the whole thing with that. I was like, is it? I didn't.
I think it has more to do with like the Son Goku thing because that's like I think it's Chinese lore, but yeah, that's
It's Sun Wukong for sure. It's Sun Wukong because the journey to the west, Maitreya being defeated by Sun Wukong. I know the actual history behind it. I know it. I'm just trying to figure out why when I bring up any other anime, every black person I know will always say it's not better than Goku though. It's not better than Dragon Ball Z. They're the first to die on that hill.
Well, that's the thing. That's only people who just don't know shit about anime. So it's like probably okay. They watched it when it was just popular when we were kids. They watched that and they didn't watch anything else. Anybody who says that shit, they just don't know what they're talking about. It's just facts. you're just ignorant. That's fine, but just know you're ignorant. That's all I'm asking.
Know you're ignorant is the the main crux.
That's all I'm saying. No, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I think people are not willing to accept their blatant ignorance because we are in what I like to call the headline culture.
Yeah.
Where everybody will see, oh, it's a headline. I'm gonna read the headline and not pay attention to anything else. So a news article wrote it, and it has to be true. This is 100% factual.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you keep up with local politics?
Ugh, no, not really.
Good.
This is my political philosophy. It's like, all right, Kamal, right now you're poor. And no matter how much you focus on Trump and Biden, you will still be poor. You'll just be poor and angry. So let's focus on one thing at a time. Right now it's YouTube. Get good at that. And then get good at all the other shit. And then maybe as you get older, you can care a little bit more about politics, especially local stuff, because I think that's what matters the most. But yeah, I don't, as much as I've made fun of like political people on the internet, I don't really care that much about politics. Like I would consider myself like a pretty liberal guy, but I'm not like, I think like for me right now, spending all this time on politics is a waste of time because I see people who just like, they dedicate their fucking life to it and they're just miserable and usually misinformed. I don't know how many like hardcore Republicans or Democrats are really willing to listen to the other side and change their opinion. And if you're not willing to do that when you have a discussion with somebody, I think you're just wasting your time.
No, so, I don't think they are, because at one point I was I had listened to I think Ben Shapiro for like this long stretch of thing, and I was just curious because he talked really fast, and I was just curious what he was talking about. And he had said something that caught me a little bit off guard, and I agree with it, and I didn't think I'd agree with him. He said that America is the best place to live, and I agree to that. I think America is, without a doubt, to me, just the best place to live in terms of freedom and how you can operate and how fast you can get rich. I think that's a fair statement to say. He also said that he thinks that because we don't have third world issues, we have to create new issues, and that's why there's so much discourse behind computers, because we're creating issues where there shouldn't be issues.
Sure, yeah, I've heard people say that a lot. No, go ahead.
No, I want to know, how do you agree to that sentiment? You agree to that sentiment, correct?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who are just kind of bored and they're looking for problems for sure. I think that's, kind of a good thing though, right? Like we're not starving, so we got to find other things to be upset about. I would just hope that we could find more constructive ways of actually fixing these issues instead of just like bitching. Misinformed bitching, which is what I think a lot of people do. And I know for a fact that shit is not productive at all. So
it was like recently I just discovered this like 3 days ago. There's a woman named Lily who is going off on Twitter for saying nigga, saying the word nigga.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, what? I'm confused because I don't know what's going on in particular. I still am a little bit confused. She was making a TikTok video and she said broke ass niggas, and I thought she'd done something drastic, but she just offhandedly said broke ass niggas, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confused why she's getting this much hate and also a lot of support. And now I'm noticing that people are just calling her Jewish and saying
Oh,
she's a
God.
psyop. I'm really confused now. I'm perplexed. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know how much hate she's getting. I remember I was streaming the other day and people were talking about it, and then I was talking to my dad and he told me about it. And I had literally I was just scrolling like a week ago and I saw it and I just moved on and I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about. I just don't understand her strategy, because if you're gonna try to be like edgy white lady, you better have a plan. I don't know, like that, because like being a fucking meme is only gonna get you so far. Like, I don't think she's gonna turn this into like a long play. I just, from her perspective, I don't get it. I get it. It's like quick attention. Let me be polarizing. Haha. And you're good. You're definitely gonna get people that are into that. But I just don't, like, in 3 years from now, I feel like she's gonna be like, fuck, that was a terrible decision. Because from what I understand, she got fired.
Yeah,
Like, unless you're trying to be like female Sam Hyde, I don't get the play.
she got fired, and she's calling people like the R slur and the F slur all over online. She's just going like full in with what it seems.
Oh, she's doubling down.
Quadrupling down, it seems. It
Oh,
is.
shit, okay.
It is an insane strategy. And what I'm noticing is that there's a lot of like thirsty men in there that obviously haven't masturbated before speaking on the internet, that generally are just saying like, you should make an OnlyFans. You're great. If you make an OnlyFans, I'll pay $30 for it.
That's a route she could go. She could make like a racist OnlyFans. She could do that. But it's like, you're not gonna be on like, mainstream podcasts for long and shit. Like, I just don't get what her strategy is. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care.
She got on
It doesn't affect me. But
she got on Infowars, I believe. She got on Infowars.
sounds about right. I feel like that's about as high as she can go.
It caught me off guard. I was really confused because the only issue that I truly have, like, yeah, she said the word nigga. White people are gonna say nigga whether you want to or not, I think.
Yeah, like, I'm not about to be your pearl clutching.
Yeah, like, this is ridiculous. But here goes the issue here. What she is, just a white person saying the word nigga inherently racist? Is that racist? Because I feel like I don't understand the word racist anymore. I think that racist is when you are like systematically racist, or when you're doing things to disadvantage another race. That is what I believe. If you call me a slur or threaten me, that may be racist. But I think from her very limited North Carolina perspective, she heard the word nigga maybe in a rap song and said, well, you guys are saying it and it's a term of camaraderie now. I think that may be her mindset, and I like to give people a little bit of leeway. I love giving people leeway until I read everything else she said, but I still think I like, when I read everything else she said, I went out the window. But I'm beginning to notice this thing where, like, if you remember a few years back when the Kendrick brought a white fan on stage, and then like he was saying the song and then said nigga. I think that was Kendrick.
Vaguely.
Was
that him?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it was Kendrick. I'm not sure who it was. It was an artist. He brought a white stand on stage, and she said nigga just to everybody, and he said, you can't say that. I'm now seeing the issue with taking back the word a little bit, because everybody wants to say it. There's a little bit of an issue. I love saying the word nigga. I think if there's black privilege, that's it. That's one of the things I got.
Right. It's like you can't say that. Yeah. I mean, I'll say from my perspective, like, for me, I do think it's a little hypocritical for me to like put it in a song and like sell it to white people and be like, well, you can't say this word. Like, I just think that's kind of a goofy thing to do. I think it's kind of, you have to expect it. Now, I'm not saying white people, you should be allowed to say it, blah, blah, blah. No, but like, that's why I don't really use it, because I know a lot of people that are watching me right now aren't black. So it just feels kind of weird for me to like be using a word and like even calling white people this word, but you can't say it back. I don't know. It just feels kind of weird to me. So that's why I just try not to really use it when I'm on the internet like that. But yeah, I don't think I don't think she was like, oh well, I just hear people say. I think she knew what she was doing, and she's like, well, I'm just gonna be edgy and get this attention. I think that was her
Yeah,
strategy.
weird
I
hill
think
to
it was a
die
bad
on.
one.
Like very weird hill to die on. Cause
Yeah,
I'm
she's just-
I'm seeing. What do you? This is the question I have for you. Cause I want to
Sure.
hear everybody's perception on this. What do you
Okay.
think privilege is?
You're really asking the deep questions here. What is privilege? I guess it's just like it can be a lot of different things. I guess like not the ability, but like the ability is the wrong word, but I'm just gonna use it anyway because I don't read the dictionary. Like the ability or that somebody else doesn't have. So like something you're born with or something that you have that people don't have. So that can be a lot of different fucking things depending on who you ask and your perspective. Like somebody in the chat living in America, yeah, it's definitely a privilege. But if I ask, maybe some of the audiences of the people I've made fun of before, living in America is the worst fucking thing in the world. But if you take them to a country where people are really struggling, then they'll see how much of a privilege it really is. Doesn't mean America's perfect, but it's definitely a privilege to be born here 100%. Privilege could be being born with money. That's a huge privilege. Privilege could be being a man, depending on who you ask. And so, yeah, I think it's just like an advantage, I think.
Then what do you think white privilege is? Do you think is even a thing?
You know what? I think, and I probably should put more thought into this, but fuck it. I think for a lot of the times, white privilege is just kind of having the benefit of the doubt. I think like when it comes to at least like cops and shit, I feel like that's usually what people are talking about. Now, if we want to talk about like history, sure, like my grandfather didn't have these advantages that your grandfather had, so he passed it down to your dad who passed it down to you. That's definitely a thing. I think most people would agree with that. But if we're talking about like white privilege now and like, oh well, I'm gonna be looked at differently from a cop or whatever, or the lady at the store than you, that's kind of what I think it is. I think it's just like us being the assumption that you're like a decent person. And I feel like a lot of black people don't feel like they're given that. I feel like when you look at me, you see a lot of negative shit, but when you see my white friend, you just assume, oh, he's just a chill guy.
What really sucks for me, and I'll give you the first thing and the second thing. First thing is, if I see a group of black people coming towards me on the street, I was a Crip, so I'm gonna walk the other way or go across the street. Like literally speaking, I'm just gonna go across the street. If I see a group of white dudes, I might stay on that side of the street, and that's fucked up. That's personal though. That's heavily personal.
Sure.
I think that white privilege is it is the absence of obstacles and not the abundance of opportunity. It is simply the absence of obstacles. That's it.
Okay, elaborate on that.
If I applied for a grant or something of that variety, it would take me a little bit more difficult to get that grant if I did that. If I put Setos on a job application, they might question my ethnicity. If I put David, they might be more willing to do it. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I worked at Waffle House. That's actively how they did it there when I was being a hiring manager, and my other managers would tell me how to do it. It's a bit strange that way. I think that.
But is that racial?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I think
is that inherently tied to race? Names.
I do know.
That's a question to be asked, I think.
I do know that's particularly at Chuck E. Cheese that when we had a party list for parties, and nobody would take the names of the black children because they wouldn't get a tip, is what they thought. That's just generally what they thought, and I would be so mad. I'd be like, I'll do the black kids, and lo and behold, I didn't get a tip. But still, it's still messed up to have that initial racial bite. Even other black people will be like, oh, this black person ain't gonna tip me.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing. It's like a whole mental gymnastics, and it's a bit weird that way. I think that's a bit of strange thing. It's strange that way. Do you feel like that can ever change?
Like this overall like negative perception of black people, basically.
Yeah, how everybody loves us but nobody likes us.
Right. Or maybe the other way around. Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so.
Hmm.
I think like, well, if you take I don't know, like I need to learn more about like black history, really. I really do, and like the economics of black, because it's like I'll hear the Republican people say like, oh, black people had it, black people were thriving in the under Jim Crow, and then I hear like the Democrats or the leftist people say the complete opposite. I don't fucking know which one is true. So it's like, well, if I'm listening to the Republicans, I'm like, okay, well, I know black people seem to be doing better economically, and as that changes, you know, like I don't think richer black people are going to be the ones who aren't tipping. It's probably going to be the ones who have less money in theory, right? So as more people make more money and or added to the middle class or whatever, then that perception would change. But again, I don't know if people are making more money. Like both sides are saying the complete opposite. If I listen to FD, black people are getting worse. If I listen to Ben, black people are getting better. I don't even know if he says that, but you know, I don't know. So I don't know. It's a good question, though. But I hope so. I think things will improve.
Because
less racism in the future.
Because I
Fingers
live in
crossed.
Detroit, I think I live like one of the worst cities in America. That's what it's called.
Rude. That's what they say.
It is. It's ass. But like there's gang
Why
violence
not
like
move?
crazy.
You make money online now, right?
Well, the rent is cheap. Anyway.
Fair. Okay.
And also I live on the river, so I live in a gated community. It's a little bit better.
Okay.
What I don't grasp is when I see other black people, they fucking love me. You see my wife, they fucking love her. I go to a community center up the street, it's fucking nice here, right? Like it's other black people love it here deeply, like, right? So my perception is it's getting better until I go to the east side. I go to the east side, then shit gets bad. I'm like, holy shit, this is horrible. And that's where I'm beginning to believe that, okay, it's really not black people. Like it's generally, I think black people are the scapegoat for classism now. I'm 100% positive about that now.
Maybe, yeah. I think that's fair.
Because what I'm witnessing, because people will seem like, oh, you have a white wife, you're a race traitor. I've heard that so often. Holy shit, it's crazy.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And what I discovered is that most black people marry other black people. Did you know that? 90% of black people? Yeah, 90%.
90?
90% of black people marry other black. 90%.
Okay.
I didn't know that. I looked at a statistic as of 2022, 90%, and I was like, oh, that's a big number.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that from the things that you hear, right?
No, you would
if
think.
If you listen to Dr. Umar all the time, you think it's like 6%.
Holy shit, Dr. Umar is the worst person on the planet. He blocked me on Twitter.
Wow.
He blocked me.
You got some clout. Good for you.
I have no pull anywhere on Twitter, but he blocked me because I challenged him. And I said, is it not fair to love somebody by virtue of the character of who they are, rather than the color of their skin? You are a deep political streamer. You're a deep political person who cares about black people. Why not preach the gospel of Martin Luther and not unreformed Malcolm X? And he said, you are a coon and you are a colonizer weakling. And he blocked me. And I was like, oh,
damn.
Well...
Damn.
I was like, thanks.
He is right though. I'm just kidding.
He's been.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dr. Umar gives a shit about black people. I don't think he really stands for anything. I mean, when you demand people to pay you to come on their podcast, you don't give a shit about black people. Like, that's the one thing you could easily do to help them out, and you're like, no, I'm not coming on unless I get a check. I think that says a lot about you alone, minus all the other crazy stupid bullshit he says.
We before the block, I did speak to him through oh my god, I think it was through it was either Instagram or TikTok. I don't remember which one it was. We had set up to speak to each other. It was going to be a talk, like just a regular talk, and then my wife passed by through the back.
Oh shit.
And I think he
didn't charge you?
We were just talking. It was a general talk. He didn't charge me. It was a general talk because I had a little bit of clout. I have a little bit of clout.
Sure.
So I was like, huh? This was like before Radical Umar. This was before true Radical Umar.
What year was this?
2021 maybe. It was no, not 20, not 2021. No. It was 2021. It was this year, wasn't it? No, it was one before. I'm trying to remember when exactly this conversation even happened. Jesus Christ, I know I'm blanking. This is a blur now. Hold on.
No worries.
It's messing me up now. It wasn't 2021. It was before. It was before maybe I knew about him being radical. I think it might have been before I knew about him
'Cause
being
I feel
radical.
like he's been radical for a minute.
He's probably been radical
Like
for a
that's
minute.
like his whole thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't like this at one point. Because when I think the clip I saw, the reason I reached out to him, he was willing to talk to me. That's the worst part. He was willing to speak. And
But he didn't know that your wife was white.
No, he had no idea. No,
Yeah.
he didn't. And
Kind of his thing.
because when I grew up, and you grew up probably vastly different than me. I grew up as
Probably.
I grew up as a little bit of a church kid.
Mm.
And the older black people would say, "Don't talk to white people."
Really?
That's
Don't
what-
talk to them like at all?
Yep, I didn't speak to white people until I was like 14, maybe.
Wow.
I didn't-
Yeah, not the same.
Yeah.
Definitely talked to white people before that.
Yeah, when I first started talking to white people, they introduced me to Pierce the Veil, Panic at the Disco, and
Okay.
and what the word uwu was, and I discovered deeply that I hated that.
Yeah. I just learned that like this year.
Did,
The uwu shit.
really? Did you know what glomping is?
No. I know what glamping is.
What's glamping? What is that?
Like glamour camping.
What? What?
Like luxury camping.
Huh? Oh, going in RV glamping. Okay, going like an RV.
Yeah. Like really nice camping. Yeah.
I think I was, because I didn't grow up with like Ed, Ed and Eddie or shows like that. I was out in the streets
I
doing nigga stuff. Like you do stuff. I was doing nigga stuff.
Yeah, I love that show. Quality television right there. Yeah.
And I'd only discovered all that stuff like later, like way later. So I was like, oh, cool. So like I didn't get the chance to learn about this stuff. This is all new to me.
Sure.
I thought that was white people stuff. I didn't know that.
Ed and Eddie?
That's what my niggas would tell me. They'd be like, oh, that's white people stuff. We watch Dragon Ball Z, but that's
That's something I wanted to talk about when it comes to like black culture, like that's white people shit. That's so stupid. Everybody should just be exposed to as much shit as possible and take what you like and throw away what you don't. Everybody's gonna. Bill Burr has a great joke about that. Every culture, every race knows something that the other doesn't. So why would you like stop? Like you should just learn. Learning is good. That's just stupid.
I am a famous. This is gonna sound crazy. I'm a famous Bill Burr hater.
What?
Doesn't that sound crazy? Doesn't that nuts? Isn't that nuts to hear that?
Oh, come on, man. Bill Burr's a legend.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay. I will defend Bill Burr to the day I die.
I think what he says is great. Right?
You just don't think he's funny?
Not at all. Not even a little bit. No. Not even
Okay.
slightly.
Have you seen his first two specials?
Yes. When he had the ginger hair, yeah.
You didn't like those?
No.
Wow, you fucking just don't understand humor. That's fine.
Okay, hold on now. I like George Carlin. Like George Carlin's great. I like George Carlin. Who's the comedian you showed me? What was his name? In the car? Oh, what's his name? Mitch Hedberg. I like him.
Okay.
Early Dave Chappelle. New Dave Chappelle is horrible. Early Dave Chappelle is
Horrible?
I think he's not funny. I think he just complains now. Like the last two specials were horrible. Before that, it was pretty good. You disagree? That's fair.
Horrible is crazy.
I don't think
I get it if you think he's on his whatever a little bit too much, fine, but he's horrible, definitely not.
I don't like he has a few good bangers in there, but most of him is just soapboxing now. It feels like
How do you feel about Shane Gillis?
I don't
He's
know.
like neutral.
I don't know who Shane Gillis.
You don't know
is.
him?
I don't know Shane. Maybe I do.
Watch his Netflix specials. He's a white man though. Well, yeah, you're not racist. So
I'm not racist. No.
you're
you was thinking I was one of those lefties you speak to. That's what you were thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
I
Shane
looked
Gillis.
at the hair and I was like, wait, and I was like, okay. I heard TikTok. I saw the hair and then
You assumed.
I was like,
You
okay,
just assumed to
we're
be. I like Shane
Yeah.
Gillis. I like this guy. He's good.
Huh?
I
Are
like-
you looking at him?
Yeah. I know this guy. He was on Hot Ones. I like this guy.
Okay, yeah. His specials are good. I think he's one of the few like new comedians that's actually funny, like with specials on Netflix.
Yeah,
There's
he's
not
good.
a lot. I think comedy's in a rough spot right now, really rough.
I think that this is how Bill Burr sounds to me, and tell me if I'm wrong.
You are wrong, but go ahead.
He's an angry Boston man,
Mhm.
right? He is the complete opposite of Chris Rock. Like, complete opposite. Chris Rock is loud nigga humor. What's going on, guys? All I did, that's Chris Rock. Bill Burr is, this fucking shit is garbage. I hate this shit. Listen to this bullshit with the grilled cheese. And this woman comes up to me and she said, that is Bill Burr. Am I wrong?
You're wrong. You're wrong about both, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because Chris Rock isn't even nigga humor, really. It kinda is, but it's more like middle class suburban black people.
Okay.
It is like nigga humor can be like way different.
Okay.
Like, what's that fucking dude's name? Oh my god, me and my friend are watching this stupid bullshit on Netflix. Fuck, you know, I need to fucking find it.
That
I need to
important?
find it. I need to find it. It is that important. He's young. It's like, fuck.
I desperately hate liberal humor deeply. I think I've discovered that. Like I think comedy should push the narrative deeply. I like Bill Burr for when he pushes things. I find him more entertaining to listen to than as a comedian. Like him, I could listen to Bill Burr for years.
That's fair. Like his perspective on things.
His perspective is great. Right?
Sure.
I love hearing him talk. He seems real and raw, like somebody I'd have a burger with.
Yeah. Have you? So I'm guessing you've seen like his podcast and shit.
Yeah, I love that shit. That's fun. I love that shit. And he
It's the
doesn't.
same guy.
What? What's that?
It's the same vibe, kinda. He's a little angrier on the specials, especially when he was young. You know, now Bill Burr, he's taking mushrooms and shit. He's kind of chilled out a bit.
Mike Tyson effect.
Like, you know,
All
maybe,
right.
yeah, a little bit. He's like, you know, maybe things aren't as crazy, because it was like a little bit of incel energy. A little bit. I think you could definitely go through the I hate women Bill Burr pipeline, and I get that. I think he would like ham it up, but I think a lot of people took a lot of the shit that he would say the wrong way. Bro, I can't think of that guy's fucking name, and it's driving me crazy. He's young. He was on like, I don't know if it was Wild 'N Out, but it was a show like that. And there was a special with like a bunch of like 4 dudes, and they were all on stage, and it was the worst shit
Wild 'N Out
we
is
had ever seen.
okay. I think I
It
phrased Chris
wasn't
Rock
Wild 'N Out. It was something.
like Wild 'N Out.
I know who he is. I just can't think of his fucking name.
I think I messed up when I said nigga humor for Chris Rock. I don't mean like humor
did.
for niggas. I mean
Okay.
it's just loud.
It is loud.
Yeah.
They're both loud though, but in different ways.
Yeah.
He definitely has like a cadence. Chris Rock.
Yeah, people often attribute the way that I speak when I do stories to Chris Rock.
DC Young Fly. That's his
DC
fucking
Youngfly,
name.
fuck DC Youngfly. I'm sorry.
That's nigga humor.
Fuck him and DJ Academics to high hell. They both fucking suck. I hate them both.
Okay.
I just don't like those two at all.
Let me make sure this is the right person. Yeah, this guy. He's nigga humor.
King Bach
Yeah,
sucks
yeah.
too. I just thought about that. King Bach sucks too. King Bach is horrible.
Yeah,
That's,
I'm not tuning into any of them. I will say DJ Academics seems like a horrible person, but
He
he
sucks.
is hilarious. I have to give him that. I
He-
have to give him credit. for
he's
that. He is funny.
funnier than Joe Budden.
Yeah. Is
Joe-
Joe Budden even funny?
Joe Budden is sometimes like misogynistically like black, like laugh at him because he's being misogynistic funny.
Oh, okay.
Like that's the kind of funny he is. Bill Burr, surprisingly, weirdly enough, I think deeply understands black culture more than most people. This,
Life is black.
yeah, I think, cause this is gonna sound crazy. I'm separating the artist from the art.
Okay.
Like that is what I'm doing the reverse with Bill Burr because what he puts out I don't like, but by God is what I talk to him forever. Like
That's fair. I'm sure he would appreciate that in a way.
it's
He'll
honest.
take that.
Same with who the
Maybe.
fuck is it? Dave Chappelle. Earlier, Dave Chappelle. This is gonna sound stupid. A lot of
Killing him softly, you didn't think that was funny.
I think Killing Him Softly was good.
Okay.
I think Killing Him Softly was really good. I thought that was amazing. I think whatever the past 2 were that he just released
Mhm.
were very soapboxy. It didn't feel like what I was. It didn't feel like Dave Chappelle.
I've said this on stream and they were hating on me a little bit. I think Dave Chappelle has gotten a little bit annoying. He's full for me, he lost me when he was during COVID and he was bitching about like Netflix using his show. And I'm like, bro, you were like 32 years old. You had been doing stand-up for a while. You weren't like some poor dude they took off the street. You had some money. And now they're like, you're still fucking rich and you're bitching during COVID when like people's grandmas are dying that they're using your show for Netflix. Who gives a fuck? It was very tone deaf. And I could see how you could see some of that tone deafness in his stand-up. Now I think that's fair.
Yeah, it was weird because I think there's this phenomenon that happens when a black person gets to a certain plateau of being rich where he begins to not care about smaller black people.
I don't even think that's a race thing.
I think it's most people. Generally, I think celebrity worship should die out completely because of this phenomenon.
100%. That's a theme in my next video.
I have a fear. I'm witnessing it ever so. This is gonna sound crazy, and I don't mean any shade at him. I'm noticing it a little bit with FD Signifier, like ever so slightly.
Oh, wow.
I'm noticing I'm noticing it a little bit, because he's pushing deeply a black only narrative, which is, you know, that's his channel stuff. That's fine.
What do you mean by black only?
I've seen him on a lot of black podcasts and him pushing black voices, and I love that.
Sure.
That's really nice. I think that's amazing to get more black voices because I want to see a Mr. Beast level black woman at the top. That's what I'd love to see.
Sure, that'd be cool.
Like,
Why not?
that'd be nice. But I'm beginning to notice that his deep hate or seemingly not hate for white people is now coming over everywhere else.
What do you mean?
It's like he will say a fence-sittery statement where he'll say something like, now, I'm not saying I hate swirlers. And then he'll add something where he says he hates swirlers. Where it's like, why is it so fence-sittery? I don't know his true opinion on it at this point. I've spoken to him for 3 hours actually about things. I just don't know where he sits on things about, because I know he's black first. I understand that. I love that. But he'll say something that is so hateful towards white people that it makes me be like, is the hate truly helping us?
I think that's a valid question to ask the man. Yeah, I think that's a valid question. Like I'm trying to think of the last thing I've heard him say that was directly hateful towards white people. Now, if you had asked Kamal before he spoke to FD, he would probably have some things. As I was making my FD / Dr. Umar video, he could definitely rattle off some stuff. But I think I'll say, FD, if you're watching this, if your strategy was to get me to stop hating you by coming on my stream, it definitely did work, and I am a little bit mad about that because I do view him as
cool as fuck. He's cool. He's cool as
like
fuck.
a friend of me now.
Yeah.
And also, I really have to piss. I've been holding it. I promise I will be right back.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, world. They're gonna hate me, but yeah, I'll be right back. I promise.
Take your piss. Go ahead.
I have the bladder of a 95-year-old woman.
Go nuts. But generally speaking, yeah. I have not looked at the chat of his thing in quite some time. So I don't know. Let's see what's going on here. Let me check the thing. Hi, Sal. Hello, Sobai. What's going on? Hello, Robert. What's up? It's about the insane statement for sure, Justin. Not gonna lie to you. Wash my hands? Are they dirty? I'm not sure if they're dirty. I don't think they're dirty. Lucky Freakazoid? I don't know about that. I think he's a great Tekken player, a great father, and a great voice in the black community, truly. That's what I believe about FD. That's what I believe. And addressing the black community don't feel for me sometimes. I mean, he's black first. Like, he's pro-black. That's what I believe. That's just a generalistic thing there. He's gonna be pro-black. And that's fair. Like, it's his channel. He started off pandering a little bit, and then he, boom, hooked him in. He got what he wanted. And I appreciate that. He got his audience and then did exactly what he wanted with that audience. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. That's really the thing I want to do right now. My day is pretty good. Is with that. What's up? The Lady of Rage with what? With that puff? What? to being pro-human to extent. That's a good statement. Explain the white privilege is how they settle to the public as much as doesn't utilize and see a white guilt. The Nicki one was good. Drake one was good. I think Drake is a horrible example of when you are passing for both cultures, but adamantly decide to use the culture of one culture and then actively not know anything about it. It's disgusting to me. It's nuts. Oh, it's Ceros TV, CROS TV. That's what I am. That's what I am. Yeah, Drake is weird. He's a weirdo, without a doubt.
Okay, I'm back. Apologies.
Welcome back. We were talking about how Drake is a piece of garbage, but
Yeah, definitely. Bad guy.
I
From what
don't
I could tell.
I don't know what Drake is seeing to gain here. Oh, before I get into Drake, you, what do you seek to gain from this? Like, what do you seek to gain from YouTube?
From YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I want to just kind of like grow as a creative. Like my angle is to be able to make like films and like series, like animated series and shit when I'm older. So I see this as like a stepping stone to doing that. I want to be able to create things that I think are interesting, build a community that I think is like-minded and that is willing to be challenged and all that shit. I want to be able to be like myself. Like my mom's over here like, oh, don't have this controversial conversation. The sponsors don't like this, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, relax, right? I don't give a shit. This is what I like to do. I'm gonna, I like to have these sorts of conversations because I know a lot of people aren't willing to have them, and make people laugh. That's a big one. That's probably the biggest one. That's why everything I do, I want to be funny. So, yeah.
What would be your comfortable end goal? What would be your comfortable like, oh, this is good?
Like what? Okay, I'm officially done with YouTube.
Like retirement. What would be like, oh yeah, this is like, I've done enough. I'm tired of editing. If I go live, I'll get like enough to be fine. What's like your number to be fine? Like what do you think your number is?
Honestly, I don't think I have a number. I think I would love to be somebody that people can see grow into other mediums, but still be like check in. So if I'm fucking directing a movie or some shit, I'll still like go live and like tell you motherfuckers how it's going. I would love to be that guy and not just let YouTube die just because I'm moved on to bigger and better things. Yeah. So I think like I'll be done. I think when I feel as though I have nothing to say, which I don't know if that's ever gonna happen. I mean, I see fucking Francis Ford Coppola over here making movies at 85. So like, who knows? I don't know. I don't know if I have one. And I feel like once you're done, when you're old, that's when your body just fucking breaks down and you die. So I kind of see myself as somebody that's just gonna keep creating and keep going until I like physically can't anymore.
Okay,
I say that like a year in, I don't know, maybe 3 years, I'll be like, fuck this shit sucks. But I don't know. I'm always gonna be as honest as I can.
I've been doing this for 12 years now.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's hell. I used to work for I don't know if you ever heard of Juba Films. They were a small YouTube channel that made a very good videos based in Germany, and I was an editor for them for quite some time. I lied. Okay. I just straight up lied to get a job there. I was like 16. I'd lie my ass off.
That's the Terrence Howard way. That's what he said to do.
It
works, I guess. There you go.
I just straight up lied, and what I discovered about this gig is because when I first started off, I had like a small little echo chamber of people that loved me, and I eventually worked up get to 100,000 on YouTube, just talking about One Piece and anime and stuff like that. But then I discovered that I fucking hate the anime community deeply.
Why?
Oh shit, dude! I don't interact with fandoms ever anymore. I don't think I do that anymore. Okay. I went to a live Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Oh, that's a lot.
You can tell. You already know where I'm about to go with this.
Yeah.
There was a shit stain on one of the chairs. and that fucked
Yeah, I
up
mean,
my
normal people aren't, like
no.
going to Yu-Gi-Oh. That's not where you're gonna find, the cream of the crop, probably.
No, and so I was like, okay, you know what? And I was doing panels. I was going to YomaCon in Detroit and Colossal Con in Sandusky, Ohio. I was doing panels, and I was a special guest because I had one of the most informative panels. I got an award for one of my panels. I was happy about it.
Wow.
I was excited. So what
Shout
fucked
out to
me?
you.
Thank you. What fucked me up is I went there and I brought one of my friends, and he said, I'm not entering this bitch ass building. And I said, why? And he said, because it smells like shit. And I'm like, really? And
There's a smell.
it is the worst, mustiest, muggiest, most diabolical fucking smell of all time. And I was like, holy
There's a
shit.
smell.
I didn't know that. Because I was new to it. And I was thinking to myself, it can't be every community. So I go to a Steven Universe convention. It's that community too. I go to a Brony convention. Oh my god, it was the worst one. I go to a Smash Bros tournament, just local. Smells horrible. So I don't want to be a part. I love the art. I love it. But the community is something I would never be a part of. And also, they don't like, anytime I cosplay somebody, I wouldn't be that character. I'd be the black version of that character. I'd be like, okay, I just want to be Naruto. Oh, you're a nigga Naruto. Okay, that's a lot. Like that's, I just want to be Naruto.
Sure.
It's not really fun. So I got hate for that because I had made a video. This is how I lost my first channel. I had made a video stating that Buggy from One Piece was going to be a Yonko. This was like 6 years ago, maybe like 7 at this point. And everybody hated that.
You said Luffy at One Piece is gonna be a what?
Buggy, the clown dude from One Piece, was gonna be a Yonko. And a Yonko was a big pirate, like a great pirate. He was a joke character, and I said he's on the fast track to becoming one of the greatest pirates in the series. And I had this whole analysis thing. It was kind of like when I did the weird analysis of Dragon Ball Z earlier. I just kind of did sporadic thoughts. It's my channel, basically.
Sure.
And they were so pissed at that. I think I had like 70,000 dislikes and 20 likes. I think.
No way.
I'm dead ass. I wish I was joking.
No way.
I'm dead serious. My whole community turned against me because I had beef with another One Piece YouTuber. His community came over. It was so bad. It was horrible. And they copyright strike my channel for like false copyright claims. It was horrible. I was like, oh, they abused the copyright system on my channel, and I completely just went underground. And also, I didn't know this. I start showing my face because when I speak, they think I'm white. Over the phone, I sound white. I was like, damn, didn't know that. And I kept saying nigga. So, they got me for that. So, I just don't fuck with it. But I've been doing this for 12 years, and I will tell you one thing you will discover immediately is you need to branch out to everywhere first, because this YouTube shit could go away in a heartbeat. I would make as much money as possible, but at the same time, very contradictory, don't do this shit for money. That's the only way to be successful with this shit, is to not care about the money, but to make sure you get as much money as possible. That's the only way to do this. I got moderate success because my wife forced me to do it, and I'm happy she did. And I gained immediate success because my life has been hell. But it is disrespectful to your mental state all the time. That is it. I've received death threats. I've had people figure out exactly where I lived at and showed up to my gated community and get turned away. I have had horrible things. I've had horrible people just all around. I say that you are built for this for sure. You have a nonchalantness about you that just genuinely doesn't give a fuck. Even if you say something controversial, you'll still be like, I'm willing to listen. And most people aren't, because I'm pretty sure you seek to understand more than you seek to argue, which is beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I do.
Yeah, I love it. It's very fun. Like, watching you has been some of the most fun I've had in quite some time. Because it's refreshing as hell. You don't understand how refreshing you are. I don't think you grasp that.
People tell me that shit all the time, and I don't get it.
No,
Can you explain that?
I'll explain it in the best way I can.
Ask me up.
I got you up. I got you. I have 4 channels where one's like cooking, where I watch cooking shows, and another one so I can see different recommendations.
Sure.
You came out of nowhere because someone recommended me you. I was watching political commentary like the Willie Mack show or something of that nature. You have an editing style that is authentic only to you. Moist Critical doesn't edit.
What I'm going for.
Willie Mack does a similar editing style to another person. Nick is Not Trained, Drew Gooden, Danny Gonzalez, and Curtis Connor all have a similar vein together.
Yeah.
They all can be the same one guy. You, even when I watch other black people, you specifically have, not only is the cadence of your voice, because generally speaking, when I hear somebody with your voice, I immediately assume they're gonna grandstand me. However, the cadence at which you present your vernacular, the way you speak, the tone at which you speak is so great that your voice is only an accompaniment to your vernacular and your knowledge. It is amazing to hear you. It's almost like an audiobook, but live. It's beautiful. I'm serious. It's nice.
That's so weird because I don't like my voice, but thank you.
No, it's really, when I first heard it, I immediately thought, oh, this is an anime nigga. It's gonna annoy the shit out of me. No, it's really, really good. It's really good. I love it. It's nice because you have the voice of the first nigga I fought against in a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But your cadence and the way you speak and the way you present yourself is so refreshing. You almost save the voice. Like you save, like everybody else with that voice should look to you as an example of how not to be fucking annoying, because you're not annoying. It's like hearing it's like hearing one of those ooh girls, right? And then having them say something like, and then the world will be destroyed. Like they'll say it in a way that's like, oh, cool. It's kind of like you'll make fun of Mike Tyson's voice, but he'll say something really cool, and you're like, that's actually pretty chill.
All right, so I sound like Mike Tyson?
No, not even a little bit. But
okay.
But you're really cool. Like it's so nice. And what are you, like 28, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've obviously had some time to establish. I'm pretty sure you went through hell in early 20s trying to figure out what you were gonna do. And I can tell you spent time to figure out when you were gonna make a video. You probably were like, okay, when I make my first video, this is what it's gonna be. You probably scripted out even, I imagine.
Yeah, the ones that you've seen, yeah. I think, have I written out all? I mean, I've been like doing YouTube kind of since I was a fucking kid. But this was the first. I had a channel before this where I was during COVID, where I was like, I have all this information about basketball. I could just talk about basketball. And that got like, I think I got like 2,000 subs on that. And then I was like, okay, I think I've hit my ceiling with this. Let's talk about other shit that I'm interested in. And I'm like, I think it'll do well. And yeah, so far so good. But yeah, I always get you're a breath of fresh air shit. And I'm like, I don't. Really
I think it's because you're black and not left. Like not truly you might. I think it's like the black fence sittery. It's very refreshing because we don't have a lot of black.
Yeah, I get it on
sitters.
both sides. Yeah, I definitely get called both.
What I've discovered is my content, and don't ever watch my content, please. By the way, I encourage you never to. It is schizophrenic panic. My content is only good if you enjoy me as a person, because it's really just me complaining. Like that's it.
Okay.
I'll be in front of a green screen. I'll put some stock footage behind me of stuff I'm talking about, or maybe a thing like that. It's not really highly edited. It's me being in front of the green screen talking about, I think I should stop fucking tipping people because I fucking hate tipping. Why the fuck do I got to tip at a self-checkout? I saw that yesterday. That's me. That's my
Bill
content.
Burr.
Basically, yeah, basically. Maybe that's why I don't like him.
Maybe you see yourself in him too much. Maybe that's what it is.
This nigga's just like me, and he's not even a nigga. This is the worst. So yeah, in general, I thank you for taking time out of your day to speak to me.
Of course, man.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
I am now going to make 5 videos in a row that have no